Welcome and get your passport ready. We're going to start studying the Americas. That includes North America and South America. Today's lesson will focus on Canada and its physical geography. The essential question today is, what is the location, place, and physical geography of Canada? By the end of the lesson, you should be able to describe the physical geography and location of Canada. Get your notebooks ready and jot down these vocabulary words and look for them as we move through this lesson. Province, that's how Canada is divided. Think of them like states in the United States. Canadian Shield is a landform, and permafrost means permanently frozen ground. Let's start with some Canada quick facts. Canada is the second largest country in the world in terms of land size, not population. The size is approximately 3.8 million square miles. It's populated by over 30 million people. Canada only borders one country, that's the United States. And 90% of Canada is too cold for agriculture to take place, which means it's too cold to plant crops. Let's take a look at a physical map of Canada. You'll notice that a lot of the land features are an extension of what we have in the United States. Note the Rocky Mountains extend north into Canada. The Great Plains extend north into Canada. There's also the Canadian Shield, which we'll learn a little bit more on the next slide, and the large coastal area. Look at all of the boundaries of Canada that are coastal. You've got the Gulf of Alaska, Hudson Bay, the Labrador Sea, and even the Great Lakes. The northern borders of the Great Lakes are in Canada. Let's take a look at that Canadian Shield. The Canadian Shield is the area highlighted in red on this map. It's formed from ice sheets that depressed the land surface and scooped out thousands of lake basins. This area, the soil was carried away from this region. Drainage is generally very poor in the shield, which means it's not good for planting crops. The southern part of the Canadian Shield has thick forests, while the north is covered with tundra, which is cold, frozen land. When studying the geography of an area, you should also look at its climate. Canada's cold temperature is related to its location in the far northern latitudes. Some places have permafrost or permanently frozen ground. The southern areas of Canada experience weather similar to those states in the northern United States. The growing season in Canada is shorter due to the colder temperatures. Let's take a look at a political map of Canada. Remember, a political map shows how an area is divided into regions. It doesn't show us the landforms, it shows us roads and borders. Canada is divided into 10 provinces and 3 territories. Provinces are political divisions similar to the states in America. The capital of Canada is Ottawa. It's down here in the south, right along the border of the United States. Let's look at the population density of Canada. The population density shows us where most of the people in that country live. The map on the right shows us the shading. The darker the shade, the more people that live in that area. So as we get further south in Canada, you can see it turns from the light beige to the darker browns or reds, because that's where most of the Canadians live, along the border. 80% of Canadians live in cities, and 80% of Canadians live within 60 miles of the United States. Think for a moment, why do you think that is? Why do you think most of the Canadians live in the southern region of that country? Population density takes into account landforms, climate, and jobs. On earlier slides, we saw that most of the northern region of Canada is a landform of the Canadian Shield and the tundra, and the permanently frozen ground, which was permafrost. That's not really suitable land for large populations or for planting agriculture. Most of the jobs also run along the cities, and the cities in Canada, as you can see on this map, run along the southern border of Canada, just north of the United States. You'll find large density of people living in the area where the jobs are. Let's do a quick check of what we've learned so far. What does permafrost mean? If you said permanently frozen ground, you'd be correct. When you think of permafrost, you don't always have to think of the land being covered in snow or ice. It could look like the land in this picture, where the soil just under the surface is permanently frozen. A province in Canada is similar to a blank in the United States. Continent, state, or region. If you said state, you'd be correct. A province in Canada is similar to a state in the United States. And remember, Canada is divided into 10 provinces. Let's review our objectives. By now, you should be able to describe the physical geography of the country of Canada. You can rewatch this video if you have any questions. In our next lesson, we'll look at the history, culture, and religion in Canada.